Hello, welcome to Three Questions with. Got my friend Tricia Owens with us from Grow Your Own Way Counseling. Good afternoon, Tricia. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
So I appreciate the time. So I do have some questions for you today. So recently, Tricia, I was talking to somebody and we started talking about therapy. And she was like, Kev, got to be honest. I spoke to someone. I just didn't feel like they understood the things I've gone through in my life. And they gave up and dismissed it. Shouldn't they try someone else?
I would say that if a person is looking for support from a therapist, they should not stop looking for one until they find the person that they connect with. The most important part of success in working in therapy is that you find a person that you do connect with. And not everybody has the same style. Not everybody is going to be a perfect fit. But it's in finding that person that you feel gives you what you're looking for in terms of an environment where you feel heard, a curiosity about trying to understand, and the willingness to try all different ways to support someone. Because I don't think any therapist can truly understand what another person has gone through. Their story is true for them, but that doesn't mean that there aren't plenty of tools and techniques and ways in which therapy can be supportive.
Tricia, sometimes I guess I'm just really naive because I'll speak to somebody and, therapy will come up. I thought about it. Tricia, what will people think? What will they think about me if I go to therapy?
Right.
You must hear that too, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of the biggest barriers to people coming to therapy, that there's a stigma that has existed probably for over 100 years, and it really comes from the fact that people didn't really understand a lot about the way emotions work and the brain works. And so there was a stigma that you can just get over your feelings and it can just put it in the past. And that's been shown by actually research on the brain over the past 3 decades to be incredibly false, that we carry our memories with us through a lifetime. And therapy can play a huge role in helping those emotional wounds to heal, just like a physical wound heals.
So I guess, Tricia, I think the opposite. I think therapy is important, because I'm able to talk about things that maybe I can't talk to my family and friends about. They won't know how to support me. They might be, oh, it's going to be fine. You'll be okay. When sometimes maybe I'm not going to be okay. Isn't that important?
It's incredibly important, and it's really important part of our being a human being, that we can't dismiss one part of our body, which is our emotional system, that is there to provide a service to us, to allow us to enjoy our lives most fully. And other people typically say those types of things because they don't know what else to say. They don't know how to help. They don't know how to handle their own emotions. And so it's a lot easier to just say, get over it, let it go. But ultimately, it will just keep boiling up inside and can actually end up with physical health problems as a result: high blood pressure, cholesterol issues, migraines, stress-related issues. So, yeah, I think that, and the important thing about therapy is that it's confidential and it's all about the individual. It's not about me. It's not about your neighbor, your family member. It's about you, and it's confidential, and that's where it stays.
So, Tricia, you're also a nurse.
Yes, I am.
How do you how do you feel that factors into your ability as a therapist? Sounds like it'd be helpful.
Well, Well, I think that it makes me very unique as a therapist because I come from a background of understanding how the human body works. And I really understand the brain biology, neurobiology, and why emotions do what they do. They're just another system in our body, and understanding that when systems get out of whack, whether it be our respiratory system or our emotional system, we're not going to feel well. And so I look at it as something that is naturally going to need adjustment from time to time, not that something that's wrong with us.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense and stuff. So, what are some of the common reasons people will seek you out for therapy?
I think that most common people are in crisis. They've tried everything else. So it could be that they're very depressed. It could be that they're having high anxiety. They have anger management issues. They're having relationship issues. They have physical issues like sleep issues that are mostly related to stress. And they don't know what else to do. So they end up in my office. And so that's really unfortunate, but typically that's the way it happens because of what you mentioned before, Kevin, which is that stigma, that it's kind of like a last choice. And I think that no matter when anybody comes to therapy, there's always opportunities for growth and change, and it's never too late. But the sooner that people understand that what they're feeling, whether it's anxiety or depression or anger or tension in relationships, that those things need to get addressed sooner so that they can be resolved quicker, just like a physical health issue.
Now,
by the way, I also see couples and individuals and children over the age of 11. So,
so once you start seeing someone and you start working together, can you go on what I call like a maintenance plan? Where, hey, you know, we just have a monthly check-in just so I can talk about things that have come up, just to kind of keep things level. That's okay. You don't have to come every week, is what I guess.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, I'm a very goal-oriented therapist. So, and what I mean by that is I don't believe that people have to be in therapy for a long period of time to reach their goals. And my goal is for each week for my client to be able to take away something that they've learned in sessions so that they can apply it in the off time. Because ultimately the goal is to live a life that's meaningful and within control emotionally and behaviorally without the support of a therapist. So typically people will come in and start maybe once a week or every other week. And gradually, as they start to develop strengths and skills, and most importantly, greater awareness of what's going on with them, then they're able to come in once a month. I actually have people that check in every 6 months, or maybe reach out to me after a couple of years because something's come up in their life and they just want to work through it. So it's not a permanent situation. It also doesn't have any kind of a timeline. It could be a one-time visit.
I like the word you just used, awareness, because it made me chuckle, because I've had that experience where you're talking and you say something, you're like, well, this is why that happened. You're like, wow, that's super obvious, but I never occurred to me why I do that, but that's what causes me to do that. Awareness is a big part of this, right?
It is, and I like to look at it from, I like to use a lot of analogies and metaphors, but it's kind of like connecting the dots, that a therapist's role is to help people connect the dots of their story of their life and what emotions have gotten agitated and what beliefs have gotten set in and how patterns have happened. And so it's kind of like when that light bulb goes off, it's because all the dots have been connected. And it's like, now I get it, right? But we can't get it until we connect the dots.
That's true.
There's no magic to it.
Yeah. So, Tricia, what's the best way for people to reach out? How can I learn more?
Well, I have a website. It's growyourownwaycounselingllc.com. They can check out my website. There's actually a request form there if you want to request an appointment. There are numbers there to access. My assistant Cassidy will answer the phone at 603-810-9600. You can send me an email. All of that information is on the website.
Awesome.
And my first visit is always free of charge. All my sessions are an hour. And the reason for that initial free session is because I want to make sure that people feel safe and that I can be of help to them. And I also want to make sure that I can see a pathway to helping them as well.
Awesome.
So we don't get started until I have a roadmap.
It makes sense. So Tricia, I appreciate you taking a moment to come on the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye now.